In this video, we'll create our first MySQL Cloud Service instance. Before we start, there are some prerequisites. First, you'll need an account on Oracle Public Cloud. This can be a trial account or an account that you or your company has purchased. And you must know the name of an identity domain associated with that account and the data center associated with the identity domain. The identity domain must have the MySQL Cloud Service activated. You'll need the Service Administrator role so that you can create and administer instances. This is associated with your Oracle Single Sign-On login, tied to your email address. It's also helpful if you've already got an SSH key pair, so that you can upload your public key to the service instance. If you don't already have such a key pair, you can create and download one during the service creation wizard. With the prerequisites met, you can now sign in at cloud.oracle.com, select your data center, and enter your identity domain. Then you can log in using your single sign-on credentials to get access to the Oracle Public Cloud dashboard. From here, I can see what services are activated for this identity domain. I'm going to create a MySQL Cloud Service instance, so I'll select MySQL from the Cloud Services menu. I haven't yet created any instances, so I'm prompted to create one by clicking the Create Service button and launching the wizard. The wizard is quite simple. There are 3 pages: the service page for the high-level information, the details page for configuration specifics and options, and a confirm page that shows a summary of my choices. The service name is a short name of up to 50 characters that appears in dashboards and on other lists and screens to identify this service. The service description is more flexible and gives you a place to describe the purpose, lifecycle, or other information for this service. This text appears when you drill into the service. You'll need an SSH key pair to log on to the instance host machine. As usual, you keep the private key on your local machine and place the public key on the remote host, in this case the virtual machine that hosts MySQL Cloud Service instances. If you've already got a key pair, you can browse to the file that contains your public key on your local machine and upload it to the wizard. You could also copy the public key text to your clipboard and paste it into the key value box. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'll create a new key in the wizard and download the key pair to my local machine. The new public key is automatically associated with this virtual machine. The downloaded key pair consists of a public key and a private key in a zip file. There are a few ways to make these keys available to the SSH client on my local machine, but for now I'll just copy them to my SSH directory so that I can use them to connect in a later tutorial. The compute shape specifies the resource profile for this instance. Each shape specifies the number of OCPUs and the amount of RAM dedicated to the instance. An OCPU is an Oracle Compute Unit, equivalent to 1 physical core with hyper-threading, corresponding to 2 hardware execution threads. For this tutorial, I'll use the default compute shape that uses the least resources, but as my application demand grows, I can change the compute shape by scaling up the instance. The second page of the wizard is where I choose specific configuration details. These include the usable database storage in gigabytes, the root user credentials, MySQL Enterprise Monitor configuration, and automated backup configuration. I'll go at the default 25 gigabytes, and MySQL's root user is the default administration user. I enter and confirm the administration password. I'll change the default database schema name to one of my choosing. And within the wizard, I can choose to configure MySQL Enterprise Monitor on this instance. For simplicity in this tutorial, and as best practice, I won't install MySQL Enterprise Monitor on the same machine as the instance that it monitors. Because this is an instance of MySQL Enterprise Edition, it also includes MySQL Enterprise Backup, which I can use to perform automated and on-demand backups to the host's disk and also to cloud storage containers. To enable this, you can provide the name of the cloud storage container and its credentials, but for simplicity, I'll disable that in this wizard. The Confirm screen provides a summary of my choices from the previous screens in the wizard. And when I've verified the settings, I click the Create button to complete the wizard and create the instance. Back at the Services overview, I can see that the instance creation request was accepted, and the status of my first service is Creating Service. When the service has been created, I can click the Refresh button to see that the service has been created, and I can click on the service name to view its details. These details include the public IP of the virtual machine on which the service is hosted, and it is from this screen that you can perform much of the administration, patching, and scaling of the instance.